How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And as we continue to go through the ups and downs as Cowboys fans, the issues continue to happen that have been plaguing this team for the last 3 decades. While some Cowboys fans try to uncover the true issue within Cowboys Nation, there are others who blame what's going on with the team on the players of the team themselves, allowing it to pass over their heads that it's actually the front office. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane so I can show each and every one of my viewers how we got here, looking as if we don't know what we're doing going into the 2025 NFL offseason. So let's go ahead and get into that during this Raw and Uncut. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
Keeping it real. They keep it real. That's real.
You know, Cowboys Nation, I have continuously put the blame as to why our Dallas Cowboys continue to fall short on the ownership. I've been trying to hold the ownership accountable in hopes that it gets out there and they do some self-reflecting and change things within Cowboys Nation. You also have those fans who say, Jerry Jones in the front office don't throw any type of passes or get out there on the field, do they? Giving the front office a complete out when it comes to responsibility and accountability for where this team has been for the past 30 years. So let's take everybody on the trip down memory lane real quick. We're not going to go back to 1996, but we will go back to around this time, 2024, after the Dallas Cowboys were quickly bumped out of the playoffs by one of the youngest teams in the NFL at that time, the Green Bay Packers. Cowboys Nation was irate. How could our Dallas Cowboys go out there and get humiliated at home by essentially a rookie quarterback? How could they get blown out the way they did at home? During the interview after the game, an emotional Mike McCarthy said no one saw this coming. This coming after a press conference that would have Mike McCarthy admitting that the team wasn't ready or prepared to play the game. Right after the Green Bay Packers loss, Mike McCarthy's hot seat grew even hotter. Fans' desire for him to get fired grew even more and more vocal as the days went by. Then comes mid-January. Mid-January, the news comes out that Jerry Jones would be allowing Mike McCarthy to coach out the rest of his contract, meaning he would be the Dallas Cowboys head coach for the 2025 NFL season, becoming a lame duck coach in the process. Cowboys Nation was furious at Jerry Jones' decision, but they continued to roll with the star. During that decision-making process, Jerry also said the now infamous words which shook Cowboys Nation to its core: all in. When the talking heads, media figures, commentators, content creators, and fans alike heard these 2 words from Jerry Jones, a new hope filled the atmosphere in Cowboys Nation. A new optimism hovered over the brand. Weeks before free agency would begin and a much-needed position on the Cowboys roster was being looked at to be addressed, talking heads floated around the idea that the Dallas Cowboys would be in the market for a quality running back as they were looking to lose Tony Pollard that offseason. Not only would they be in the market, but some of the most coveted running backs of the recent years were also becoming free agents. Players like Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, and a player that already owned a home in Dallas, Derrick Henry. There were rumors of Derrick Henry's desire to want to become a Dallas Cowboy, and as free agency came and went, Cowboys Nation would not see Jerry nor Stephen Jones make any type of moves at signing a bell cow running back to the position. The running back that Cowboys Nation wanted would eventually end up in Baltimore, becoming a Baltimore Raven, while the Dallas Cowboys' divisional opponents, the Philadelphia Eagles, would bolster their running back room with the acquisition of former New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley. Jerry Jones's words of all in would be scrutinized by Cowboys Nation as well as the talking heads. With the 2024 NFL Draft quickly emerging, Cowboys Nation hoped that their team would see some much-needed positions filled after the front office allowed a number of key depth pieces to walk away in free agency. Players like Tyron Smith, Tyler Biotish, Dorrance Armstrong, and Dante Fowler Jr. were among some of the players allowed to go to different teams while Jerry Jones did nothing to fill their position. Let it be duly noted that the last three players that I mentioned are currently appearing in the upcoming NFC Championship game, with the coach that Jerry Jones allowed to walk out the front door, Dan Quinn, accompanying them. Losing Dan Quinn to the Washington Commanders, Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys defense would see a change at the defensive coordinator position. Jerry Jones would bring in a familiar face to the franchise, Mike Zimmer. They would also bring in linebacker Eric Kendricks to the fold. After a lackluster 2023 NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys and Cowboys Nation would look to score big for the 2024 draft. Just before the 2024 NFL draft, Cowboys Nation got some activity from the Jones family in free agency, but not the activity that we wanted to see. The decision had been made to bring back the former face of the franchise and running back Ezekiel Elliott. This angered Cowboys Nation while also giving Jerry and Stephen Jones the scapegoat of not addressing the running back position during a rich running back class of said draft. Not only would Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and the offense have to do more with less, they would have to add rookies to key positions on their offensive lines. Not day one rookies, project players that were selected in the first round. If you take a look at the 2024 NFL Draft, out of the 8 draft picks selected for the Dallas Cowboys, 1 became an immediate hit with the team during the entire 2024 season, Cooper Beebe. Every other position either didn't work for the team, needed more time to develop, or went down to season-ending injuries due to the workload of the Joneses' expectations. We can also take a look at the 2023 NFL Draft for the Dallas Cowboys. Out of the 8 selected in the 2023 draft, no one made an immediate impact. Like Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton in 2024, Mozzie Smith in 2023 would be thrown to the wolves and not be a quick asset to the team. This would have some fans calling Mozzie a bust. Is Mozzie Smith a bust, or is it the expectations placed upon Mozzie Smith's shoulders? With a new draft class and new faces headed into training camp, a number of rookies would be called upon to fill the holes that were left by veteran Pro Bowl players like Stephon Gilmore and Tyron Smith and Tyler Biadasz. Dak Prescott and the offense would be expected to continue their winning formula with rookies guarding his blind side and a rookie at center in Cooper Beebe. Training camp would also see a key depth piece in Sam Williams go down to a season-ending injury, with Jerry Jones not being so quick to fill that position. This would call for rookies like Marshawn Kneeland to have to step up and be a rotational piece for DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. Cowboys Nation would have its skepticism, but still go into the 2024 NFL preseason with hopes for this team. With the decision made on Mike McCarthy's immediate future, no help coming from free agency, and Jerry Jones's words of Dak Prescott having to do more with less, there happened to be 2 huge contract situations that most experts advised Jerry Jones to get done sooner rather than later. The contracts for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Though Jerry Jones saw no immediate need to take care of that situation, everyone else knew that time was money, and with every day that passed, Dak and CeeDee Lamb's contract numbers would continue to grow larger. Jerry Jones would go on record to say that he wanted to see more leaves fall before he made a decision on Dak Prescott or CeeDee Lamb. While CeeDee Lamb held out a training camp in preseason, Dak Prescott continued to be the leader of the team, showing up to OTAs, mini camps, as well as training camp. As CeeDee Lamb's holdout continued, his contemporaries would see contract extensions from their respective teams. This saw CeeDee Lamb's number growing, but Cowboys Nation saw no sense of urgency with Jerry Jones getting the deal done. Everyone knew the longer he waited, the higher the price would be for both players. It wasn't until August 27, 2024, when CeeDee Lamb would ink his contract extension for the Dallas Cowboys, 16 days before the start of the 2024 NFL season. The day that the Dallas Cowboys played and defeated the Cleveland Browns, Jerry Jones would be dragged in the mud for his decision to make Dak and CeeDee wait on an inevitable decision to actually extend them. Throughout the entire offseason, Jerry Jones would sacrifice saving money on the cap for garnering headlines and suspense during the previous Super Bowl and offseason. With the demands of the team's top players having to do more with less, it saw a number of Dallas Cowboys Pro Bowl players go down to season-ending or multiple-week injuries. Players like Sam Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Brendan Cooks, Zach Martin, Deron Bland, Marshawn Kneeland, Kalen Carsons, Eric Kendricks, and eventually Dak Prescott, Trayvon Diggs, and DeMarvion Overshown, just to name a few. While the Dallas Cowboys continued to get bit by the injury bug, Jerry Jones looked for ways of plugging those holes with bargain bin players the likes of Linval Joseph and Carl Lawson. They were added to the team. During the season, the Dallas Cowboys offense would make the decision on the running back by committee approach in the backfield. Cowboys Nation would gain even more frustrated with this approach because we continued to lose. During the game against the San Francisco 49ers, Cowboys Nation will witness Rico Dowdle emerging out of the tunnel signing autographs, even though he was listed as out due to sickness. This would show Cowboys Nation that the Dallas Cowboys were not making the right choices when it came to who was better at the position and who deserved the title RB1. Was it Mike McCarthy making the decisions to play the inferior running backs, or was it coming from upstairs? When Zeke was left in Dallas during the Atlanta Falcons game, that gave Cowboys Nation its answer. The idea of running back by committee was coming from the front office. The more the season progressed, the more Cowboys Nation began to see the hands of Jerry and Stephen Jones stirring the pot and choosing the lineups for the games. It showed Cowboys Nation that Big Mike didn't have full control over his own offense, in turn, not having control of his own destiny as a head coach. There were more decisions that came from the top that would play a part in the dysfunction for the Dallas Cowboys. Decisions such as attaining Trey Lance for a fourth-round pick in 2023, or attaining Jonathan Mingo toward the end of the 2024 NFL season for a fourth-round pick. The choice of forcing Ezekiel Elliott back into a scheme that Mike McCarthy visibly didn't want him a part of. The forced draft of Deuce Vaughn and allowing a player who hadn't made an impact to stay on the 53-man roster. The decision to attain Dalvin Cook and keep him on the practice squad without giving him a chance at possibly impacting the team. Not taking a serious look at improving any of the team's specialty positions, such as wide receiver or running back, because we like our guys. Now here we sit watching our NFC East opponents fight it out in the NFC Championship, while Cowboys Nation wonders how we got here in the first place. If the Washington Commanders hadn't shown Cowboys Nation one thing, it should have showed us that with the right pieces in key areas, we too can make it to an NFC Championship game. With the right attitude, we can see our team in this position as well, Cowboys Nation. Thing is, the Washington Commanders front office made a decision to give Dan Quinn the ability to make decisions and to listen to him when it comes to football. The Commanders front office would take care of the money and the business portion, while Dan Quinn took care of success on the football field. This is absolutely not happening in Dallas, Cowboys Nation. The GM/owner and his son want to be the reason for all of the financial success as well as the success on the football field. They want to be the reason why the Dallas Cowboys are financially successful while being the ones leading the team to championships. As Jerry Jones stated in a recent interview, he bought this team for himself, so he could be the one making the decisions. While you have the Washington Commanders front office conceding to the fact that Dan Quinn knows more about football than they do, the Dallas Cowboys front office thinks they know more about football than the people that they hire for the day-to-day football operations. So, Cowboys Nation, this is the reason why I put all the blame on the front office of the Dallas Cowboys more than I do the players. The Washington Commanders have shown us that you don't need 53 All-Pro players to get where you want to be. While some would place the blame on the people that are passing, catching, or blocking, was it solely the passing, catching, and blocking that had us fall short in 2021, 22, and 23? Or was it the fact that we were inefficient in multiple spots, which the Jones family told Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn to deal with? Dan Quinn wanted Bobby Wagner the entire time he coached the Dallas Cowboys, but Jerry and Stephen Jones wouldn't acquire him. It's no coincidence that he got Bobby Wagner the first year he was the head coach of the Commanders. They told him, you need it, we'll get it for you. And you see where his team is now. Each and every year, Jerry and Stephen Jones complains about the salary cap as if 31 other teams don't deal with the exact same salary cap. They complain about not having salary cap dollars to acquire game changers like Derrick Henry, but they have the money to afford to sit and watch leaves fall on the highest paid players that they have and then break the bank because their approach was wrong. But to keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation, some in our fan base need to wake the hell up. I mean, I understand that people have demonized the term being woke, but this is the only way to understand why the Dallas Cowboys continue to churn out a mediocre product each and every year. You can say that it's our quarterback. You can say that it's Dak Prescott. That Dak Prescott isn't it. What happens when the Cowboys draft a first-round quarterback, but they get the same outcome? What happens? We continue to reach the playoffs and we get bumped in the divisional round. Y'all still gonna say that it's the players? Y'all still gonna put the blame on Dak Prescott? When the careers of your last two quarterbacks mirror each other to a T, I feel that it's because the team has been ran the same for both said quarterbacks' careers. It's not the fact that Dak Prescott is Tony Romo 2.0. It's the fact that the players' bosses haven't changed their outlook, and it's showing on the field. To keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation, if I buy a steak at a 5-star local restaurant and the steak is undercooked and the service sucks, I'm going to ask to express my concerns to the manager through the waitress. If I don't get the results that I want from the manager, I'm going to go to the general manager. I'm not going to say that the cook sucks because he didn't cook my steak exactly the way I wanted it, but I will bring up the rudeness of the establishment. This is what some in Cowboys Nation who simp for the owner do. They expect any team that Jerry in the front office puts out there to be able to go out there and win championships, and when they don't, it's the fault of the people that Jerry and Stephen Jones put out on the field. Remember, none of these players would have a job if it weren't for Jerry Jones signing the contract and putting his name on the check. So if I'm going to try and fight a battle and get things changed, I'm not going to fight a battle with the lowest man on the totem pole unless that man is the only issue that's holding our team back. I'm going to want to debate with the cause of the problem. And for the Dallas Cowboys, the issue for the last 30 years has been Jerry and Stephen Jones. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. A lot of you Angry Cowboys fans understand where I'm coming from, but there are some fans out there that just don't get it for some reason. Did this video help you see where I'm coming from a little bit more, Cowboys Nation? Y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. But if you're digging the content and want to help get it out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans, drop a like on this video and share it with whomever you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan. If you are DC for life and you understand that it's Jerry and Stephen Jones that continues to hold this team back, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdown, draft coverage, or Madden 25 or college football 25 gameplay. If the last 2 years haven't shown you where the issues lie in Dallas, I'm sorry, but you're never gonna get it. You'll continue to blame the quarterback while allowing this parasite to spread. You may change who you're mad at, but the fact will remain. The Jones family will get away with everything while you drive away the getaway car. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.